How you doing, everyone? My name's Marvin. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I think it's going to be my YouTube channel. This is the first it's the first video I've ever done, and I've watched YouTube farmers out there and definitely love the content. But I have a farm here myself, and for the things I go through, my daily chores, the seasons, the type of things we grow, I kind of figure, well, in the process of learning stuff, you never know till you try it. So I'm gonna give it a shot. New to filming, microphones, editing, all this stuff is brand new to me. So it's gonna be a little rough in the beginning. I'll be realistic about that, but I'm hoping it get better with it as we do more. But I definitely want to keep it real. So the idea is, as I'm learning, I want you guys to be here for that, and maybe it helps some other people out there as well too. That's kind of always been my mantra in life: is if you can learn something, it's one thing, but if you can teach somebody else, it strengthens you as a teacher, because now you really know the knowledge and you get to pass it on. So the things that I learn and the things I'm doing right now, I'm hoping to make it better. Now, to let you guys know, I am a second generation farmer. My father was the caretaker of this very farm that I'm on now. And what this is a 80-acre farm that's in the southwest Colorado. It's a hay farm, so we grow cow, horse, different types of animal feed. Pretty much just forage. I don't do grains, or at least not yet. And I don't really do alfalfa or clover or anything like that yet either, so no legumes yet. I'm a grass farmer. The reason I'm a grass farmer is because I'm also a business management major, and working for companies and corporations in my life, you do market research, figure out who's your customer, what's the appetite for, what can you reasonably make, and what's the expectations, how much of that can you really sell, is there a market for it? And I kind of figured out that over time, and I'll kind of deep dive into this at some point of how this all came about and stuff. But the way it stands as of right now, I am a grass hay farmer. So I do brome grass, I do meadow and smooth, but I'll be focusing mostly on meadow in the future. I do orchard grass, and I do timothy. So the idea is just strictly grass, and the reason for that is because my market is primarily horse customers. And again, not knowing anything out of the gate, a couple years ago when I first started doing this, and I've only been doing this 3 years, so this is only my third year coming into farming. My first year, when I was kind of trying to figure it out, I grew whatever was on the ground, and let's see if there's anything for that. And oddly enough, there's the fallback around here is just, if nothing else, it can be cow hay. And that would be fine if that's all it was. But the grass that I was growing, again, because there was no alfalfa or clover or any of that stuff in it, horse customers actually started coming by, and they're like, hey, do you have just grass hay? And I was like, yeah. So there was a market for it, and so that's kind of just been the customer I've known and the customer that I've kept. I don't know if you can see behind me here. This is all just grass hay, but I kind of want to show you from this other side first. Okay, so here, this is my first cut hay, and it's all just mostly just all brome grass, which again I wasn't sure about, but horses really love this stuff, like brome grass. And some counties and states that I see out there, they actually classify it as a weed, but no, the horses really take to it. That's my first cut there, and you can see it's kind of been bleached out a little bit because this barn does have access to the sun in the mornings. And I'm going to start covering the fronts of the barns during times when there's either not being hay loaded in, or just whenever there's hay in here, to be honest. But behind me here, this is all second cut hay, and there's two different stacks here. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Right behind me is the real green stuff. Over here, this is a little different. And this is all different because during the summer, the different types of grasses will come through, and the different types of warm season grasses come in. So for grass hay, really your strong season's in the spring, and that's what that first cut was. This stuff is kind of more of what else comes out in the summer, and then making sure it's not toxic and will the animals take to it. So the spring is really my primary time to grow hay, and then as you get into July and it starts warming up, you're kind of pushing to see if you can get one more cut or something like that, and your season you should have about 70% of your product into the barns by then. The rest of the season's kind of let's see what else we can grow. And this is all good stuff. I mean, everything in here is palatable. But I will tend to kind of sway this more towards sheep and cows and stuff like that too, which I have customers for that as well too. 3 years has been really good. Like I said, applying that business degree, marketing and advertising and stuff's really helped me solidify a lot of customers. And then just treating people right's the important thing. And that's always been something that I believed in, you know, provide customer service. If I have bad bales, I always tell people, you know, what I'm growing, let me know what you think of it. You know, is it something that your animals like? What's the problems with it? Are you finding, like, is there thistle? Is there cattail? Is there willow? Is those kinds of things in there? And if that's the case, I'll definitely replace those bales. You know, I want to do it right, and I want the customers to be happy. You know, and if there's problems after that, then, you know, okay, we'll make it right. You know, and that's one thing that I believe here. So usually when I get a customer, I keep them, and, you know, I give them the best pricing I can. I tell all my customers, here's my break-even price. Here's what it cost me for water, for seed, for fertilizer. Here's what it cost me to tractor this out, because I'm only 3 years in, I really started with just the barns and the ground. So anything I put out here, I have to pay for. And tractors and implements are really expensive. So right now I have to have all my tractoring kind of contract done, and I just kind of pay to have all that done. But the other stuff, the water, seed, fertilizer, you know, that's manageable, you know, and you get enough bales going through. I just let people, you know, whatever I spent divided by the amount of bales, that's how much, you know, it costs me. So I'm hoping over time I can sell on quantity and have a really quality bale, and, you know, maybe that price will change in the future. But coming out of the gate, I just wanted to get some good clients that could believe in me, tell them up front what I'm selling, and here's why, and here's the price, and here's why it's that price. And they've been really good with me. They've been really loyal to hang out with me for at least a couple of years. But I wanted to introduce myself, let you all know that this is kind of something that I'm doing. This barn is one of 2 decent sized barns. I have a little lean-to barn too as well too, and let's see if I can kind of get out and we'll at least take a look at this plot. But I wanted to start a kind of a farm channel just to see if it's something that there's an appetite for and how well I do with it. I always figure, you know, that's the best way to learn something, is to just jump in. But this barn is about 30 feet by, I want to say 45 feet. Let's see if I can pan out a little bit around, or show you a little bit outside here. So we come out here, this goes right into what I call field number 1. Field number 1 is right off of the barns. This is an 80-acre farm, but only about 45 to 50% of it's in production right now, and a lot of it is plowed up ditches and stuff like that I've gone to. I don't know if you see in the far distance, there's a pivot that I put in just this year. That was big for us. It's a really big expense, and I'm hoping that over time, you know, the hay will help pay for that. But that was big. But this is field 1 here, and you can kind of see this is after our last cut. This is kind of just the stubble that's there. It's about 4 inches high, which is about right for going into winter. Next year we'll have a good jump into the spring. And then let's see here. So I kind of come around outside here. That's an old boats and RV that's just don't work anymore on the property. I'll need to move them because at some point I do want this little area right here to come into production. It hasn't been. This used to be an area that my dad fenced in for horses. So we had the horses out here, and then out here on this side too. And this barn was another little triangle area that we had. But I want to get all that incorporated into this field 1. So field 1 currently sits at about 7 acres. I want to get to about 9.2 once we incorporate all the triangle fields and then the ditch lines, because we always flood irrigated until I put in these pivots. This is the lean-to barn that I have. This is pretty small, but it'll hold a good chunk of bales. I want to say, you know, it looks like it can hold maybe about 2,500 bales in this one. And then as we move over here, this is the original barn. You can see this is that old style. You know, people talk about barn wood and, you know, that kind of stuff. That's what this is right here. And my dad, this used to be a 2-level barn. He actually cut the second level out with a chainsaw so we could move one of the smaller stack liners that we had back in the days. And he had a lot of tractors, equipment, stuff like that. And when he had passed away and I was still in school in Nevada, a lot of his stuff just didn't stay here. So coming back to the farm, I'm starting from scratch. You can see in this barn right here, that's one of my purchases that I made last year. And it's a hay elevator on a cart, which is awesome and amazing. The little crank lifts it up and down. This one right here is the old original one that we had when my dad was around. And that's really heavy, so it takes usually two people to do that, or if you can work a tractor somehow to get it moved around. So I try not to use that one unless I have to. But this barn here, you can tell it's definitely it's leaning a little bit too, so it has some internal bracing put in. And again, all this was stuff that my dad did when he was around, and I've recently had it reworked on the outside, so I put in new sheet metal, or had a guy that I know come out and he did that for me. And I traded him some bales for that. But you can see right here, all this sheet metal was done because it was just wood, and it had so many holes in it. It wasn't holding back anything, water, wind, or anything. So this right here is a horse pen that I had, and you see it kind of goes out in that triangle field I was talking about that way, and then out into field 1. But I'm hoping one day to maybe get horses back on the property. That'd be nice. Would be nice. This ground here, this was actually a really narrow road. I just had this kind of reworked and then added some more base and gravel to it this last year. It's prone to catch a little bit of flooding from groundwater seepage. I'm trying to figure that out. That's going to be something to look at down the road. But I want to just kind of get you guys the intro to this, let you know this is a farm channel that I'm going to have. Again, grass farming, hay farming, that's what I do. Bales, small bales. Looking at big bales, round bales. If that's something there's an appetite for, people want that, then I'll do that. But as far as I can tell, it looks like grass hay bales are usually done in small bale. If I start adding in alfalfa or clover or something like that, then that denses up the material, and I guess that would be better for the bigger bales. But so far it seems like the grass bale thing's been going well. I do want to let you guys know that this is going to be quite a journey, and I've come so far. Out here on the property, there used to be a lot of trees, a lot of interior fencing out here where this is. This used to all be interior fencing here that I'd take down all the wire, roll it up, pull out all the cedar fence posts that my dad had put in, using like a tractor and chain, and tried different ways of doing that. There's a way you can do it with like a spare tire. I did that. But the family's been really good as far as helping me out with this. Now you're going to ask at some point, where's the family? I do have a family. Like I said, I came out of school in Nevada, worked there for a long time, some different companies. And it's very convenient for the family to go to school, work, and stuff like that from there. So I came out here to kind of come try to rework this farm. And they're going to be on that side working or staying doing what they're doing. As this becomes more fruitful and it's actually viable, and if it becomes the business I hope it becomes, we'll look at bringing everybody back over here for now. But gotta figure it out as we go. I ain't gonna sugarcoat that. I kind of make it up as I go. But they're definitely support me from where they are. We do go back and forth a lot, so they come here, I go over there. We spend a lot of time together. But for the most part, the farming part and the parts you'll see with me are pretty much me either working this, or I'll be utilizing family. My nephews come out here to help me with the bales, stuff like that. We hand stack all our hay, and I'll explain something about that and the reason why we do that. I try to incorporate some of the older farming that my dad used to do, as well as some of the newer stuff like the pivot and stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting. A lot of stuff to talk about. And I'll probably shoot out a few short videos just to kind of get that going. Oh, look at this. You guys can see this Timothy that's right here. So this Timothy and this grass, this is kind of that smooth brome that's out there, which, like I said, a lot of people would consider this a weed in some areas, but this is actually what the horses really love. Some big ones too. But this Timothy is hopefully what will become a lot of seed out there the last 2 years. This last year I didn't have the hydration out there really to get it, and that's a long story. We'll go over that. But next year should be a really good year for us, and I'm hoping to take you guys along with me for that. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Again, this is Pinnecoose Hay Farm, and I thank you guys for coming along for the journey. Please stay tuned for some upcoming videos. Anything else I post, it'll probably take a while. I'll see if I can get some subscribers going. But I'll definitely let you in on a lot of cool things that are happening around here, okay? Till next time, we'll talk to you later. See ya.